Hello and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Is Crypto Mason right? Is HBAR the one to run the world? Interesting. Okay. So I was on X and I saw this video by Crypto Mason. And as you can see in the title, it's why HBAR is the one to run the world. And so I thought I'd give it a watch to see what he has to say. And I'm going to say this, guys, because I'm always about being transparent and I'm always about being honest. I don't think there's going to be one crypto to rule the world. There will be a few cryptos that provide utility, and they will all have a place within the crypto sphere. And many of the cryptos that you see today that like meme coins and those kind of stuff, the coins that don't really provide any kind of use case or purpose, they won't be here. However, I do think HBAR will be one of the predominant cryptos. I do think it'll be one of the most dominant cryptos in the space, in my opinion. I agree. I do. I'm not saying it's going to be the only one, but I do think it'll be one of the stronger cryptos in the crypto space. That is my opinion. I do agree with Mason in that sense. So let's get into this so we can discuss this a little bit further. And before I do start, guys, if you could please just subscribe to the channel, that would really help me so I can continue to give you guys this kind of content. So if you do like it, please subscribe to the channel as it really helps me out, okay? Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get into the actual video and what Crypto Mason's actually saying, okay? I'm not going to play the video for copyright purposes, okay? So I've just done some bullet points of some of the things that he discussed, some of the topics he addressed, and I'm just going to add my commentary on top of those, okay? So he was talking about how all the governing council members basically run a node, okay? So that's in regards to, if you think of like Google, Boeing, IBM, there's countless council members on there. I think there's like 30 in total or something like that. It may have gone up since I've last checked, but I think it was roughly around the 30 mark when I last remember having a look. So around 30 council members all running a node. So as far as I'm aware, that is true. I'm not aware of that not being correct, so I'm not going to counter that or anything like that. And I agree. Yeah, that's obviously going to be useful for Hedera. Yeah, of course, and HBAR. Now, some people do say this, and Mason brought this up, right? Like, oh, okay, so you've got all these council members, but none of them are actually using HBAR. Well, first of all, as Mason said, they would be running a node on the Hedera network, okay? So that's first and foremost. But secondly, look, I'm going to make 2 points here. One, we don't know if they're using HBAR, right? They could be doing things behind the scenes that we're not aware of to see what kind of ways they could benefit from using Hedera and HBAR, right? So for all we know, there could be testing and stuff going on where they're like, okay, like this is the kind of stuff that you can do. This is the kind of utility that you guys can provide. Okay, cool. So in the future, we're going to release something out using Hedera and HBAR, but it might just not be something that they've announced just yet. It could be something that's in the making, right? We don't know. So you can't really say they're not using it because we're not really privy to that kind of information just yet. I mean, if they are governing council members, you would think that they probably are going to want to use Hedera at some point, right? Maybe they're just not ready to jump into crypto at full scale just yet. Maybe this is something that they're kind of dabbling their feet in and, you know, slowly getting into that process, because mass adoption takes time, right? It really does. It's not something that just happens overnight, right? And secondly, let's just go with the premise then that HBAR isn't being used by the council members, right? It doesn't matter, to be honest, even if that's the case, because these companies are in the governing council for a reason, right? They all obviously believe in Hedera and they want to help it succeed. Why else would you join the council, right? You don't just join it for the sake of joining it. And at the end of the day, crypto's new and Hedera wasn't a proven network at the time. They all joined in because they saw the potential, right? They all saw what Hedera had the potential to do and they wanted to get behind it. They didn't have to. Like, Google's a big enough name on its own, right? It doesn't have to be with Hedera to help grow its name. It's big enough as it is. This is a bigger look for Hedera than it is for Google, right? Does that make sense? So if these companies have joined Hedera as the governing council members, please believe they've done it for a reason. They've done it because they believe in the technology and they believe in Hedera. So even if they're not necessarily utilizing HBAR right now, one, doesn't mean that they won't in the future, and two, it doesn't mean that they're not still believing in what Hedera can provide, which is why they're all on the governing council, because they believe it can succeed, and of course they're going to be doing things to help it succeed. That's why they're on the council board, right? So to me, that's kind of irrelevant. Now, just another thing that I will bring up, Crypto Mason did mention how basically it could come to a point where some of the governing council members will expire, their membership will expire. Now, this isn't something that I know as a fact, but I will just say this. I don't think it's going to be a thing of once it expires, it's guaranteed that they're just going to leave the counselling board, right? Like, I would assume it's kind of like a contract renegotiation. So they would see how things have gone, see if they're happy being on the board. And if they're happy, maybe they would extend it for like another year, another 5 years, etc. That kind of thing. Now, I'm not going to say that that's completely factual because I don't know the ins and outs, right? But that's just my speculation. So I will just say to Mason there, although he did mention that, I don't think that necessarily guarantees that they are going to come off because, you know, he said that might be something that could affect the price. Now, if it is true, then yeah, cool, fair enough. You know, the memberships expire and then some of these members won't be members anymore. But the other thing that you got to think about there on the plus side is it opens the door for other people to become members on the governing board, right? So as one door closes, another one opens. So who could be next on the board, right? And this is something that Crypto Mason did mention, like it could be Apple, right? It could be Tesla, you know, all these types of companies, right? Who could then get involved with Hedera instead in replace of a different company. So it doesn't necessarily even mean that that's a bad thing, right? Because we could get even bigger companies who want to then come around and work with Hedera and be on the governing council. So the opportunities are endless, guys. It really is. So yeah, overall, when I look at this, I agree with Mason. Do I think HBAR is going to be the one to rule the world? I'm not going to say it's going to be the one, but do I think it'll be one of the biggest in the world? Yeah, in my opinion, absolutely. I see everything that's going on. I see all the partnerships that's happening, everything that's being built, the adoption. I don't see how it won't be. That's my opinion, of course, and that's my speculation, but I don't see how it won't be, guys. I really don't. I just see big things happening for Hedera constantly, and the more I do these videos and the more I see things going on, the more confident I grow with Hedera. So I really do feel good about this investment, and I really do think the future is very bright for them. But what do you guys think? Crypto Mason saying HBAR is the one to run the world. Do you agree with this? Do you see that happening in the future? What do you think about some of the points that we've made about the governing council? Do you agree with this kind of stuff? Or do you not agree with this kind of stuff? Do you not think HBAR would be the one to rule the world? Do you think there's maybe a different crypto that you think will be the one to rule the world? And you don't think the council stuff would really be a big deal or impact HBAR price overall? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.